So hey guys, welcome back. So in this lecture we will discuss about the name locators in the Selenium WebDriver. We have understood the ID locators in the Selenium WebDriver. Now next is the name locator in the Selenium WebDriver. The name locator in the Selenium WebDriver basically used to locate the web element on a web page with their name attributes. If you don't find the ID attribute, then you can search with the name attribute. If you have the stable name attribute, then you can write your locator with the name attribute. The name attribute is used to give a name of an HTML element. Basically, when we are defining an web element, we provide a name for the web element, and if the name is stable or the static, then we can go with the name locator in the Selenium. The name locator may or may not have the unique value. The name locator can have the unique value or it cannot have the unique value. It means if the name locator has the static value and this is a unique value, then you can go with the name locators, and if you have the multiple values and these are the dynamic values, then you should not go with the name locator in the Selenium WebDriver. This is the basic syntax by.name, and you can provide the value of the name attribute. And this is the Selenium methods driver.find elements. It will return the web element by.name, and you can pass the value of the name attribute. Okay, if the element is not found when you are writing with the name locators, then you will get the no such element exception from the Selenium. So this is our facebook.com page, and here I just inspect this email web element. Now you can see the IDs we have already discussed. Now it is also having the name. Okay, you can see the name equal to email is there. Okay, so now this is the static value of the name. We can use this value as an email. If I go to the password and if I inspect this web element, I can see the name equal to pass. Okay, and ID also equal to pass. So you can use one of them. Okay, but if in the one divisions div class, this one, if we have the multiple input with the same name, we cannot go with the name locators. In that situations, we should look for the another locators which is suitable for our automation script. So now if I pass the email as a name, so how I will do that? I will go to my automation script, and this is the statement. Okay, driver.find element by.name. You need to provide the locator name, and the name will be the email. Send keys. You can see the email will be the same. Now let's run and see the output. Now you can see the Selenium script enter the value with the name locators on the web page. So like that you can use the name locator wherever you are seeing on the web page. If you can't see the name locator for a particular web element, you should not write the locator with the name locators. And if your name value is the dynamic, then how will you find that name value is the dynamic or it's a static? The best thing is you just refresh the page. Okay, and if the value of the name locators is getting changed, and if the name locator having the numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 any numbers, you should not go with the name locators in the Selenium WebDriver. Now what are the disadvantages? Let's see. First is the uniqueness. So uniqueness means the name attribute values do not have to be the unique for each element on the web page. Sometimes we see the name attribute don't have the unique value, they have similar values. Then we should not go with the name locators. If there are multiple elements with the same name, Selenium WebDriver will locate the first element that matches the name attribute value and which may not be the intended web element for our target. Okay, suppose we want to target the third one web element, but if the first and second also have the same value, then Selenium by default will locate the first one. Okay, now the maintenance. If the name attribute values of the element on the web page change, if the value of the name attribute getting changed frequently, then the test script that we use the name locator will also need to be updated, and which can be the time consuming and error prone. Okay, so whatever test script is using the name locators, and if the name locators attribute values got changed, then we need to update the name locator accordingly, and this will be the time consuming process. Not all the elements have the name. Yes, of course, because we have the multiple web elements, and if all the elements don't have the name attributes, which means the name locator cannot be used to locate those elements. Those don't have the name attribute. Now coming to the performance. When the number of the element on the page is large, it might take the more time to locate the element by name. It is the same which we have discussed with the ID. If in the one table, if there are the 10 elements and they are having the name, and if you want to search the last element with the name, it will traverse from the top to bottom, okay, in the table web element, and it will slow down the performance of the execution of the automation script. Now dynamic names. So when some web pages have the dynamic names which can change with each page load, and this cause our test script to fail as a locator, and which is no longer valid. Okay, so we have written the name locators. Okay, now if the name locator is the dynamic, when you refresh your page, when you navigate to the applications from one page to the another page, and in that conditions if your name locator value got changed, then it is called the dynamic names, and that will give you the exception in the Selenium when you run your automation script second time.